Hi, my name is Katie and I'm the driver for the session and my navigator is cool. So today we are going to cover chapter 4, 5, 6, and 7. So it's short chapters. So chapter number 4 was adding sample data. So basically we had to go to our cloud for Mongo and we had to create a cluster like like this over here. We created our cluster, and as we can see, all the name, email, movie ID, and date those documents to appear up here. And then also we had to connect to our MongoDB over here. So what we had to do was click the connect button over here, and then we go to drivers, and then you copy the script over here. So once you copy it, you go to your VS Code, and then you go to your env, and you paste it over. Frick. You paste it over here. Once that's done, and then you have to like run your commands like npm I, and all your modules have to be installed, and then you go to MongoDB, and then you have to connect your server so everything can appear on your campus over here. And that was chapter 4 basically. And then chapter 5 was sending our Node.js Express backend. So basically in this chapter, this is where we have to um where we have to install our dependencies. So first off, we have to install Node.js. So that's where we have to download the latest version, and then after that, we have to create our own folders in the terminal with this code over here, and then this is where all the code will basically live. And then we have the npm init, so that is just um to generate the package.json file. So that just tells Node all about the project. And then we also have to install the dependencies. So we can install Express Course, MongoDB, and don't env. That just lets us build the server quickly, allows the front end and back end to talk to each other, connects the database, and it helps to manage the secret environment variables. So I have all that already. Um, After that, we can install Nodman. It's quite optional, but I would recommend that you do it because it auto restarts the server when the code sorry that auto restarts the server when the code changes, and it doesn't require you to restart the server continuously. So after installing the node modules, the folders will appear, and it tells all the packages. Also the package JSON now lists the dependencies we added, like over here we can see by the scripts. It gives all the information. So basically in chapter 5, we install the Node.js, initialize a backend project, and install the core packages, and then edit Node for a smooth development. So moving on to chapter 6, we'll fire up the server and start writing routes. So in chapter 6, this is where we're creating our backend server. So basically, we are going to learn how the code moves to one side, to one component to the other. So I'm just going to explain the code over here that they have listed as well. So for chapter 6, first off, we import the core dependencies. So we import Express framework and we import course middleware and enable a urgent request, and then we import the movies router handler. And then we create the Express application, and then this just initializes our Express server instance. And then we have our middleware. So this middleware enables the course and lets the front end access the back end in a different origin. And then this line of code over here enables the passing of incoming JSON data, sorry, JSON requests, like the post request and the JSON bodies. And then over here we are defining an API route. Any request to API V1 movies will be handled through the movie route.js logic, which will go over here, and this is where everything will be handled. So here we get access to the express route, and then over here the route send hello world gets the full movie object, and then this goes over here. This route is for the movies and their rating, and then we've got the CRUD functionality here, like to review and delete and edit. Also, we have our error handling. So if none of the routes above match, the web will return a 404 error, and then this is just to export the app so it can be used in the index.js. And that is where we connect MongoDB to start the server. And that was it for chapter 6. Now moving on to chapter 7. This is where we're creating the movies data access object. So in this chapter, we're basically creating the movie DAO, and it's part of our backend, which will end up fetching movies from the database. So over here in the backend folder, there is a folder called DAO over here, and inside a file called movie DAO .js over here. So we created a class called movie DAO, and the class includes a static method called injectDB, and it connects to MongoDB with a collection, and it stores the reference in a local variable called movies. And then in the index.js, let me just get it. We are importing the movie DAO over here, and then we are connecting MongoDB. So we have the await movie inject DB client. So that just sets up a movie collection to reference before the server starts listening. So basically, here in the movie DAO, I just want to go over the code real quick. We are obviously importing MongoDB client and the object ID utility, and then this variable initializes to store the movies in a collection reference. And here we are defining the movie DAO class, and then here we inject a database connection into a DAL once on startup, and if already connected, don't reconnect. And then our try just tells us to connect the movie collection in a specified database. And here we've got our error handling if we are unable to connect to the movie DAO. And then over here, this is where we retrieve a specific movie by its ID along with the reviews, and then we've got a try. So this just is an aggregation pipeline to fetch the movies and its related views. And over here we've got a match. So this is just to match a single document by its ID underscore ID over here. Then this code over here this performs a join between the movies in the review collection, and the next just returns the first matching result, and then we've got our error handling. So if something went wrong, an error will be shown. And then this code over here retrieves a paginated list of movies with optional filters. And yeah, our if statement just builds a query based on the filters. And this is the text search on the title field. And this is the exact match on the rated field. So like EG, PG, and G. And then we've got our try. So first off, it fetches a document using the bulk query in the big nation, and then it converts the result to an array and counts the total matches, and then it returns both the list and the total for big nation UI. And then lastly, it retrieves all the distinct ratings used in the collection, and it uses MongoDB's distinct to collect all unique rated values. And also, that is it for chapter 4, 5, 6, and 7. Thank you for watching.